Okay. My name is Inger Clark. For those who have not met me before, I am the parent coordinator. I'm a program coordinator for Family to Family Network. We do a lot of trainings. We try to help parents navigate through planning for the future with their child. While it may be financial, or it just planning what's going to happen for the future, what they want and what they don't want. So we do have a lot of training. So if you can go onto our website, search some of the trainings that we have, some of the trainings that we've had in the past. And if Christina, if I forget any, please let me know. We've had letter of intent. We had special needs trust. We've had SSI training.
Guardianship.
Guardianship, English and in Spanish. We offer it. So if we get a training that a lot of people want to have it in Spanish, we will offer it to Spanish. We just need to look for a presentation, someone to present it in Spanish, because Christina speaks Spanish, but I do not. I'm learning. But there's, yeah. So as we go through, I'll be talking about some of the things, all of the things that we'll be talking about is part of our small group. This is what we do during our small group. But today we're only focusing on the one-page profile, okay? And just giving you some ideas on how you can get it started and plan it out. And just things to think about. Okay, so it's exploring life's possibilities for a good life. And that's what all we want for our children, is to have a good life. And so in order to have a good life, we always tell you, you have to create it. You have to plan for it. And I always tell parents, no matter how much you plan for something is going to take you off of that plan. But it's easier to get back on a plan and start with something new. And we'll tell you that all of these forms that we're going to be working with, they can be changed at any time, because when you're talking about transitioning, you start transitioning your child as early as when they go to preschool. If they do ECI, there's a transfer there. They're going to the elementary school, and then they move on to middle school. So there's a lot of transition in their life. And we always talk about, there could be a divorce, that could be a move. That's another transition that they have to move through. So we just want to give you some guidance and some opportunities to document things and change as you need. And so what our main goal is does everybody know what it is called when you say person-centered? Anybody? Raise your hand if you got to get, if you can guess.
Or just unmute yourself and you can speak.
Yeah, just mute yourself and take a wild guess. No? Okay, well, I'll go ahead. It is when you take the person with the disability and you put them as the center person, because they should be a part of any planning that you have. They should always be a part of that. Anytime that you have a planning, if you have an arts meeting and they're of age where they can understand what's going on, you should always include them in the planning, because it's all about what they want and what they don't want in the future. But when you're doing your planning, you always want to look at all of the life domains. And that's employment, where they're going to live spiritually, if they're going to go to church, what kind of health needs they're going to have, safety and secure, especially because some of those individuals are able to stay on their own. If they're going to go to college, if they're going to go through a job training or something like that, everything has to be in place. And I always tell parents, it's good to start with that IEP. If you know that your child is wanting to go to college, you should put that part in your IEP and work on that and make that be a goal. So when they actually get ready to start school, go to college, it's already planned out for them. Anything that they would need, you've already reached out to the school for accommodations, things like that. So when they turn 12, 13, 14, when they start transitioning and the art committee starts talking about, okay, we need to start making a plan toward transitioning them from high school to adulthood. So, and you know, and I always tell them, I tell about this story all the time. I have a son that is 30, I think he's 32 now. You know, I don't want to say how old he is because that dates me. Okay, so um what I did for him, he's autistic, and what I did for him, he told me what he wanted to do. And so I got him in some training, I got him in the job similar to what he was going to be doing or he wanted to do when he graduated from high school. So if it was, he wanted to take care of children, and that is what he's doing right now. He's working at the Y, and he is the manager. So he's not only able to manage children, he's also able to manage adults and do planning and do timesheets and all that stuff, because I made it possible to him by giving him those resources and letting him work on it before is actually he had to know. So that's when I say it's always important to plan ahead, think about the future. If your child says they want to be a chef, okay, you want to get them in the kitchen. You want to get them familiar with things around the kitchen and things that they may encounter in that job. If you want them to, whatever job they say they want to do, if they want to work in the coffee house, you say, okay, let me see if I can get you the intern at maybe Starbucks. You know, so you want to look at all of those goals and try to work within that goal. So to really make them successful is to always plan and train so they can get all that training for free. And then they go off and they'll be more successful in that job, because first of all, when you feel good about what you know, you do a better job. When you're afraid to learn, afraid that you're going to mess up or you're going to be called to the carpet for something, it's harder for you to focus on, you know, being a good staff because you're worried about so many other things. So just remember that, just gear your training and the knowledge of whatever they want to do and just work on that goal. Okay, so we just talked about transitions, and we talked about the different transitions, the lifespan. You know, it starts at infancy, and then you know, and I think everybody's probably seen that, so we're not going to really go a lot over this. But then I told you guys, I mentioned to you guys, there are different transitions, which can be the elementary, middle school, high school, and then job training or off to college. And then so and I don't know if you've ever talked with your has anyone spoken with their transition specialist? No, not yet. How do your children, anybody can just, you can just mute and say my child, and then we'll try to gear it a little bit toward that, because I think we may have some adults, we may have some younger kids or middle school, high school. So let me know so we can kind of gear the training toward what the age group is.
My son is 7 in 2nd grade.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Martha's daughter is 3 and is in ECSC.
Okay.
Yeah, early childhood special education.
And for the one who has a child that's in ECI.
ECSC, early child special education.
So have y'all spoken with Judy? I'm gonna give you some information about that. Put it in the chat box and I'll send you an email, because they do have a IEP plan, because you are just really getting started. And so
right. She says she has done training. Yes. Okay. So she knows
done training with Judy?
Right. And in the fall, maybe you got the email. We're having some other classes. So if you might want to take them too.
If you're interested, we definitely want you, because we have so many trainings, but these are just things because we want to give it to the parents so they can start planning. Because as a center director working with Head Start, I would always tell my parents that it's important to think about the future. Sometimes people say, oh, my baby just 3 years old. We got a long time to start thinking about what's going to happen to him in the future. But no, you don't. Time goes by so fast, things happen, and you want to put everything, you want to document everything. You want to get a binder each time that you meet with your art committee. You want to have a binder, and you want to talk to them about where your child is now, and that's when we'll talk about the profile too. And that's what you can use to kind of discuss with them where you are, where you want to have your child go, what he likes, what he doesn't like, what's going to be important to him, and what's not going to be important to him. All of the stuff you will discuss. But so
Right.
when you meet with the art, and I have to tell you guys, you as a parent are the most important committee member.
Mhm.
When you meet with them, you are it. You are the expert of your child.
Right.
Okay, so if you look on the IEP and it's not giving, it's not saying the goals that you have set or that you talked about with them, and you don't see those goals, you need to speak out. It's okay to say, I don't agree. You don't have to sign anything if you don't agree. And then they will set times for you to go back and meet again until you can agree on that on those goals set for that child. But I always tell parents to be connected with the child's teacher. Always, because she's the one that is going to work that IEP in the classroom. She's going to do the modifying in the classroom. She's going to monitor, and she's going to make sure that they meet those goals. But you have to be her partner. Because as you know, everybody knows school is getting a little, I don't know, something's going wrong there, but they need support.
Right.
So, you're going to have some teachers, first-time teachers, and you want to, especially on the first day of school, we'll talk about how you can use that form as well, to the profile form, to introduce your child to them. So just remember, you are the most important. You want to advocate for your child. If you see that the goals that you've set and they set, if he's coming from another school and those goals were set and you agreed on those goals, make sure that you read over the documents, and you can tell them, because sometimes they'll give you a stack of paper and you're going, okay, and they expect you to read through that. So no, say, look, I need to have time to look over this. I need to have time to discuss this with his teacher. I need to have time to whomever I need to talk to in the school to ensure that if I have any questions about these forms, they're being, the goals are, we definitely, our end goal is to have the goals be met so they can be successful in school. So just remember, you are the parent, you are the advocate. If you don't advocate for your child, nobody else will.
Right. Anger. Janine, I think she has a question or wants to comment.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
No, I was,
yes.
I was just gonna say that my son is going to be 13 in November, and he just started junior high
Okay.
last week. So just,
Okay, so have y'all,
Different.
have you had your ARD yet? Or?
yeah, we had the transition hard from elementary. He started in a private school, and then we went to HISD. So we had that transition when he was going into 4th grade. And then we had we did the ARDs that we were supposed to do. And then the big transition one from 5th into 6th grade. So that
Okay.
was, I didn't know that he was, because it was during the school day, and his teacher was like, oh, he's going to be part of it. And I was just like, what? So it was just kind of weird, seeing him in the, at the school with his teacher. And I was just kind of, it was just kind of, it excited me because, he has autism, and he has a expressive and receptive speech communication issue, ADHD. So we've always, we haven't hidden any of his diagnosis from him. So he knows he's autistic. So he's, we're teaching him to advocate for himself. So
Right.
seeing that, I wasn't bad surprised. I was just I was a little distracted, oh, he looks so good at school. It was just,
Oh, he looks so cute sitting
yeah,
here
it's
with us.
oh, look at him, he thinks he's Mr. Big Shot, totally.
Well,
But
he
you want
is
him-
Mr. Big
I
Shot.
know,
Yeah.
I was so, and I was
Yeah,
so
he-
proud of him because he's
Yeah, because
"Sure."
that's what you want. You want to make him feel that he's important and that he is the center, and he gets to make the decisions, even though, it's all of you are sitting there and we are thinking about what's best for him. So, but
Mhm.
having him be a part of that is the best part. So they feel empowered to continue to go on. It's not
Mhm.
somebody else guiding and telling them what to do. They actually
Mhm.
have a part in deciding what goes on. So kudos for you.
Thanks. Yeah, we were
Yes,
shocked. We were
yes.
shocked because they were asking what elected, because we knew he would do this because he's SLC Trek in HI. He's in HISD,
Uh-huh.
and on that program, and so they were like, well, he's going to have like a thinking skills class and an elective because he goes into general education, and then they have the resource teacher that comes into
Mhm.
the classroom or whatever. But so we were asking him what, and he had done some theater stuff. But then in the meeting, he's like, I
Oh.
want to do band. And so we're like, okay, so now he's he's doing band. So we're just like,
See?
okay, let's
See,
do
and that
this.
makes him happy because he's going to be doing. He said he wanted. Y'all said you're going to make it happen,
Yeah,
and so he's not. So he's happy,
yeah,
and on to the next thing.
right.
But
And
thank
so
you,
it's like,
Mom. Yeah, thank you
yeah.
so much,
So
Mom, for cheering him on and making him feel so special. Thank you so much. See, and that's what we talk when we talk in this group. When we do the small groups, that's what we talk about. We are an advocate for each other. We're sharing information because sometimes things happen and you think you're the only one that's going through it. But there may be somebody else that's going through it just by hearing your story. So now that they've heard your story, that your child is coming in at 12, 13 years of age to his own art meetings. So now they can talk to him about, it's really good to prep a child sometime, but then sometimes you can catch them off guard and get the best results. So it just depends. You know your child better than anybody else, but prep them and let them know that they're going to be going into the art and say, hey, it's all about you. We want to make sure that you get what you want and you don't get what you don't want. And so, okay, so this is a form. We always say this is a very good form, and there are so many ways that you can use this form. But this is just a beginning to kind of jot down some things that you see that you have for a vision that he have. And you can talk to him about, hey, what kind of, now you know that he's able to say to you, hey, I want to do band. I might want to be in a band when I grow up. Or, whatever he wants to do, you can ask him what his vision is. And then you grow from any experience that you have, the trajectory, you have those beginning experiences that either were good or not so good. You say you learn, I don't want to do that again. Okay, I'm going to keep doing that because I've been successful with that. I'm just going to grow and go to the next level. So this is a good form to kind of plan out and sit with your child and say, hey, let me, and talk to him and say, what is your vision? What do you don't want? And so when you go and meet with that wonderful teacher for the first time and you introduce your child, you say, oh, by the way, let me give you this form. These are some of the things he likes and he doesn't like. And so she has not only, if she hasn't met him, she not only knows him paper-wise, but she can actually read about him or her. And you become, I guess, bought in when you see that a person as a real person, that they make changes, they have dislikes, we all are human. And sometimes we get so busy in our job that we just see, the number. Sometimes they number us, sometimes they just see the name. So to have this paperwork going into an art meeting to tell them, hey, I want to introduce you to my child, because they've seen all this goal setting for him, they've seen this for him, but to actually see him in the meeting and then read about him on this paper. And you can change this paper anytime. If you go to a new school and his likes and dislikes have changed, you can take that form with you. And, because I send it to you electronically, so you can change the type on it and print, and, because I know my handwriting is horrible. So I always like to print stuff and, I give it to someone. But so there's documentation. Anytime she has a question about something that she has spoken with you about, you can document that on that paper as well. So that will remind her, say, hey, the mom did tell me, he likes to sit in the front. He doesn't like to be around a lot of crowd of people. So maybe she can put him closer. His sight is not as well. Even though he has glasses, he still needs to sit in front. Oh, he feels comfortable sitting in the back. You know, just whatever is going to make him, if he has to have medication at a certain, you can put him near the door, anything that's going to make him feel comfortable and not stick out as, okay, he has to walk way across the room knowing that 12 o'clock he has to go take his medication. So now everybody's watching him walk across the room. So if you can put him near the door, so he has easy access, go get his medicine and come right back. So just think about those things when you're planning for with this and using this document, just to just each time that something changes or you meet somebody and you want to introduce, even on a job, you can take this form, he can take this form with him on a job when he does his interview. Say, hey, this is me. I want this job because I can do this. I see a vision as being a cashier. I see a vision, you know, as being the coach for a special needs team. Anything like that. You just these are my skills. This is what I can do. I have a wonderful smile. I love smiling, and I'm great at customer service. Whatever that is on there that will introduce your child to this person, to make them see them as a great asset to their company, to their school, to the classroom, what have you. This is a great opportunity to use that. And so, and it just helps you to start thinking, okay, vision. I need a vision. Where is he going for the future? We are here. We need to get here. So you can use that form for that as well, because all in all, it's all about having a good life and being successful. You know, and it's through planning. Okay, so when we do the transition, I think most of you, only one of us is almost at that transition where they're transitioning to adulthood. But just remember, every action, every connection leads you to another connection. And if the connection is positive, you're going to keep going on that. But if it's negative, that's where you stop. Is that not? When something gets hard, sometimes we just say, okay, I'm not doing it. So you just want to look at those and make sure that you're on the path that's going to get you connected and expressing and going through with getting to the goals. And that's just to have a good life and have a dream. But transitioning in high school is sometimes the most important. You have to think about, are they going to go to college? There are so many opportunities. Are they going to go to work? Are they going to do a trade school? All these things that are listed. You want to, I always tell people, look at all the things that you have a chance to think about, because not everybody is built to go to college. Not everybody is built to be in the community working with others. You know, they may just want to be, you know, maybe caring for people in a nursing home. You know, it just depends on. So whatever their vision is, again, I say, take those experiences that they have and move them toward to learning something more, so they can be successful on that path. And I always tell parents, think about the vision. Think of when you see your baby and you know that, okay, sooner or later they're going to be turning into an adult. Okay, I need to start, you know what. And I always tell parents too, it may be a possibility we may not be here. You know, so who is going to help my child if I'm not here? So if you're documenting all of these, you take our forms, you document, or you make your own forms, however, you let the person that is going to be working with you to support this child, that you have all the documentation. If he has to have transportation to go to the doctor, if he needs medication at a certain time, if he has a meeting that he has to attend, a support group, everybody should know what's going on with him. So in the event that you are unable to do something, they can say, hey, I'll pitch in. And so, and that's why I tell parents, it's okay to ask your friend. If they say no, it's okay, because people know their limits. They know what they can do and what they can't do. It is, but, you know, and don't feel bad. Just, you know, well, and just say to them, well, if anytime, you know, I call on you, if at that time, if you can help me, would you help me? So, but you want to put those people in place that's going to help and support you, because, you know, life happens, you know, floods, lights go out, personal things happen, things like that. So you want to have the opportunity and have an opportunity for somebody to assist you. But just remember, have the highest expectation for your child. I never saw my child as having a disability. He won't even let me put that label on him. He says he's not autistic, but I see it, but I don't claim it. When he said he wanted to do whatever he wanted to do in school, okay, we can try it. You know, he wanted to go to college. I let him try it. It wasn't for him. Okay, then we need to back up. Okay, you remember we talked about your vision. You wanted to work with kids. You wanted to do this. You wanted to be a manager. You wanted to be just like your mom. Yeah, but you know, so he took those goals and I mean those trainings that he did and made it work for him. So everything that you go into, you have to tell your child that you know, tell them they're going to be successful. Because if if they buy into it, they're going to work harder at it. You know, but then if there is a setback, you know, don't harp on the setback. Think about it and move on and find something, talk to him more about what he would like to do because this didn't work for you. So it's really important that in communicating with your child, it's so important. Every decision that you make, sometimes we have to make hard decisions, share with them. Don't just do it and then they find out about it, you know, because that could shut them out and then they don't know what's coming next, you know, and sometimes it makes them afraid to move forward. So just remember that any decision you have to make, sit down and talk to the child and let them know and give them a reason why. How parents say, oh, I'm the mother, that's why we're doing it. They don't understand that. They think, oh, she's so mean. Oh, she won't tell me nothing. You know, so then I'm reluctant to go and ask. They're going to be reluctant to ask you anything. And if you tell them things that that could hurt, sometimes they start to blame you. So it's always important to communicate with them and let them know and be honest. You know, as honest as you can possibly be for whatever age they're in, you know, they are, you know, because some at younger ages don't really understand. If you flat out just tell them directly, they don't understand it. It has to be in words for them to understand. Okay. Okay, so it is important for everybody in the future, no matter what the age is. Some people, this may be hard to think about when you describe who your child is, when you're talking about the future. And you know, as a parent, sometimes we want our children to stay children. We are afraid to have them move on because sometimes we can stop our children from doing something because of our fear of them being hurt, of them being rejected, or anything like that. But we got to take our fear out of it and let them experience life. You know, and always connect them with the community. Keep them in the community. I always tell parents, you know, no matter if you have a disability or whatnot, there are certain things that you can do in the community. If you want to be a cheerleader, you want to be a football player, you want to, whatever you want to do, the options are open. And so let them try and, you know, keep our fear to a minimum. You know, inside we shaking, but we're smiling at him or her and saying, you can do it. But you saying, oh Lord, please don't let them hurt my baby. So just remember that and try not to just encourage them to try something new. And just remember, they are going to have peers and they want to be with their peers. They don't want to be sitting up and talking to you every day, all day, watching TV. They want to get out and they want to have some fun. They want to have some laughs and they want to do whatever they are able to do. So just remember that. And I say that sometimes comes with fear for a parent, but just know that they are young adults, they are young children, and they want to be amongst their peers. They want to interact with others. Okay, so just remember when we talked about those different life domains, just make sure when you look at those different life domains that you can put something in it. You may not be able to put anything with it if they're 3 years old. Spiritual, you'll have to wait until they're old enough to go through that. But certainly look through those and start talking about the life domains, what they want, what they don't want in those different areas. Okay. Now, I put this on here just simply to say, to think, these are some other things to think about when your children are getting older. Where are they gonna live, their accommodation, where she or he wants to live in the future, what supports they will need. That mean accommodation, anything, you know, if I need to have something, the shelf put at a level where they can get it if they're in a wheelchair, or if they're unable to use a left or right hand, we have to make sure that those accommodations, so they're able to, they can be self-maintained, they can do things on their own, because they really want to do things on their own. And you have to allow them to at least try. So when you go out, and then think about the public services that they're going to need as they continue to grow, if they're going to need if they're going to need to apply for SSI, if they're going to need to apply for a Medicaid waiver, anything, any accommodation they're going to need in their living spaces, or when they go off to college. Just start thinking about that and start planning for it. And then two, one of our grant things that we really talk about, how you gonna pay for all this? You know, we've saved money to care for our children, but it's really important that you think about SSI, because it helps you. When it comes to the Medicaid waiver, it can offset some medical bills for you. And if they're working, and you'll be able to put it in a ABLE account. Has everybody heard about the ABLE account? I think Texas, no, okay. So put it in the chat and I'll send you the information about the ABLE account. Just all those things. So if they're making money, you have somewhere to put it. And so you just put that information, put the money or whatever and store it away, because more than likely your children will only use what is necessary for medical care, for, you know, whatever thing that they need. So I will send you information on the ABLE account, and maybe we'll look at doing a Spanish class in the ABLE account, or we'll bring the ABLE account training and we'll redo it. If you guys would, if y'all have any interest in that. But just know that a person can maintain and build connections in the community. Remember that when I talked about the peers, they just want to be connected with somebody in their own age, and just experience some of the things. Because, you know, life is happening so fast, and we just can't shelter them anymore. We have to keep them safe, but we also have to let them live. So just think about that. And I know as a parent, yeah, it's scary, but sometimes we gotta let them gotta let them grow. Okay, now this form is another form when it talks about the life domains. This, I mean, can you guys see that? It's just talking about, it states out the different domains in it. And you can put to the right, you can put your vision that you have for the future, or your child's vision for the future. When you, and all these papers, when you start using, just remember to have your child sitting next to you, you know, or that group that's going to be supporting him or her. Have that, and y'all go over this form together, and you just highlight, you know, if he's going to be living on his own. Okay, as far as security, you know, what are we going to do about that? You know, any medical supplies he's going to need, how are we going to store that? You know, how are we going to get furniture? How are we going to keep him having his own home, and or even going to school at the same time? So just think about all of those things, you know, that you'll have to think about on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Some of those you won't use, some of them you will. Some of them will be a priority to you. And what we thought about when we did the training on the priority side, you mark out which ones is a priority to you from 1 to 10 or 6. You say, oh, number 1, my priority is for him to be safe. So then you click, you say priority number 1 on the right hand side. So that knows that anybody that comes in, hey, mom was concerned about his safety. Mine was about his health, getting his medication. That may be number 2 on the list. So when you gather all these forms and you put them into a binder, anybody on your and put it on the shelf, and anybody can pull that off. You're away, and they say, oh, what medicine does he take? And what time does he take his medication? That information is right there in that binder for them to get it and use it. And that way, they know about him, and they can assist him in any way they possibly can, because you've left the notes. Okay, so just remember, when you're forming a vision and beginning to plan for the future, in each of the life domains helps plot a trajectory for a full, inclusive, quality life in the community. Because that's where you want him to be in the community. You want him to have a quality life. You want him to get everything that he has access to as far as medical. You want, if there's any services out there that he needs, you want to go ahead and start that. And I've learned this working with Family Network. They give you so much information. If you ever want to know something about anything doing with disabilities, I would say call, and either one of these ladies, Miss Mary Jane, who's our executive director, we have Judy Blake, and I'm sure everybody, if you haven't met her, but I'm sure you've heard of her name. And then we also have Leslie Lawson, and then Christina and I are there to help as well. But if you have anything, I would tell parents, don't act, be proactive. If you know this is coming up and this child is turning 14, 15, then the Medicaid said at 14 he changes, you have to do this. And I always tell parents, this is a shocker. Now, okay, when your child turns 18, if you have not set in stone a power of attorney or anything for him, and you can no longer sign for anything at that school. You can't even sign to get his last report card. Anything, when he turns 19, he is deemed a legal adult, and now you have to get his permission to go into a bank account, to do anything for him at that point. So it's really important that you set that in place before it happens. If he needs a full power of attorney, or there are so many options for consent. Christina, what are some of the other things that you can use if you don't use a power of attorney?
Sorry, there is of course, a guardianship, but a guardianship is to remove every right to decide from the kids. Some disabilities will allow other kinds of instruments that the court can accept for helping them make decisions. Like, for example, the one, sorry, guardianship is the one that absolutely takes all the rights, and the other one is a supported decision making. Oh, the name was just fleeting my mind. Supported decision making is another alternative. There's also the special needs trust, the power of attorney. So there are several choices. We recently had one class where an attorney did in Spanish, but we can also do it in English. He mentioned whatever is important for that. But please see our calendars, because in December we have Jim Soto giving a class about, that will be power of attorney, right?
Yes,
Inger?
but he'll probably go back to guardianship as well. He'll probably touch on some of those things as well again too, for those who did not attend the class. Yeah,
there's a lot of choices, but it depends on the disability that your child has and how they are able to make decisions. And some of them, your kids are still young, but you'll go see what their development is. So you'll have choices.
Right, and it's so important to be proactive right now. Find out, so when it comes time that you have to do some of these things, you already know who to talk to, or you've already started putting it in play, because it's going to come, and I believe you not. Time goes by, you say, I still have time, and you look up one day, they're 12, and the next day they're 19, 18. I mean, 18, 19, 20. You're going, wait a minute, I'm not ready. So I always tell parents to start getting ready and thinking about that, especially when it comes to what the vision you have, or he has for his child, for him. And I always say him because I have two boys. I don't have a girl, so I always say he. I'm sorry. But you know, just plan. And I always tell people this is also can go with a child without a disability. This works for anybody. Planning is always good for anyone. You know, if you know that your parents are getting of age, you might want to tell them to start putting their stuff on paper, and so you understand what they want. And that if what's the good thing to have a will, you want to talk to them about that, all those different things, because when it comes and you're incapable of making those decisions, it still will lie on you. So I will tell you, when we say this training may be just for individuals with a disability and their supporters, their caregivers, the professionals that work with them, not only that, it can be for a child caring for an adult parent, you know, because they have they may have some needs that have changed as they have gotten younger. I always say, I never say old, but they've gotten younger. And so just remember that you want to put some documentation in place for them as well. Okay, so you can use these forms in any way. They adapt to young child, infant, they adapt all the way up to older senior. So just know it doesn't stop there. You can continue, you can use these same forms for whomever you need to plan for. Now, I was talking to some of you before we came on about our personal network. In this project that we have, in this grant, it has 3 opportunities, free opportunities, to meet with the Texas Parent to Parent, to plan out and help you to create a personal network, building connections and relationship with individuals with a disability so you can support them. And so they can tell you more about it. So if you are interested, all I have to do is you give me your name and your information, which some of them I have it. If you email me and say, hey, I want to be a part of that, it's free. You don't have to get off your couch. You can be on your computer and you're just working through this with them, and they will take you to the guide. They will show you how, who, when, and you can get it started. And then it becomes, you can have ownership to it. You can name it whatever you name it. Like if for my child, I would name, Nicholas Special Decisions. You know, that's the name of the group. And so every time we come together, we are, people like to meet over food. At least I do. I'm a foodie for real. If you tell me it's going to be food at a meeting, I'm coming. And so if you want to support them, and food is always good to be that connecting place that gets people talking. And so if you want to do that, that is something, if you want to take part in that, please let me know, because we do have one more slot available, and it's only 3 classes. You set the time with her, you said how it goes, and she's just working with you to plan out. So now you have your group, you go off and meet on your own once a month, 2 times a week, or you make the decision. So it's not about what they set for you, is what you and your group sets for your child or the individual that you're caring for. Okay, and it's free. Okay, free. Okay, now we're almost at the end, but I also want to share with you guys too, we have some more slots for working with a financial advisor from Mass Mutual, Brian Smith and some of his team members. So if you're interested in that, you want to meet with him, that's free as well. You get 3 times. It can Zoom, any kind of virtual Teams, whatever you have and you're used to, you can work with him on that, and y'all discuss what documents you guys have. And it's free. All you have to do is reach out to us. We'll send your name to him. He'll give you a call, set up the appointment, and then you come in. Not come in. You can come in. Their office is open now. So you could either come in or you can just Zoom over the phone and just talk to them over the phone. Once you close off, you at your house and you go about your day. Okay. So here we are. This is what we're really talking about today. Because what's the time, Christina?
Well, 7:25. Yeah, we got 5 minutes.
Okay. So, I'm doing good timing then. Okay, this profile. We say that everybody can use this profile in any way that you deem that's going to make you be successful. But the profile is to provide the opportunity to see your child's strengths and challenges in a new light, have a clear understanding who the child is, and become better prepared to participate in the IEP process. That's one of the roles that you can use this form with. But another role is when you take him on his new job interview and you hand that paper to him, say, hey, this is all about my child. He loves to smile. He's great with people. He's a good communicator. You know, this is the best way that you can support him. Like, I'll give you an instance. My son said to me, he said, you know what, when you give me information, tell it to me slow, tell it to me twice, and then ask me if I understand. So if you put that on the paper and you say, this is how my child learns, this is how my child understands, you know, they won't be going around, do this, do this, do this, and they going, and your son is like, wait a minute, what? All I know is do this. So that's a way to kind of put on the paper so they know who you are. And then also what's important to you. If he has a problem with people having a loud voice and yelling at him, or too many things being thrown at him at the same time, you just say, hey, this is important to me. The kind of job I'm looking for is I'm working on the computer in the back all alone. You know, that's what's important to me. And the main important thing is working alone, but getting my job done. So this is, you can use this form, but the main thing is, well, when you go to your IEP, like we said before, using this form introduces the team, your art committee, yours as the person, as the advocate for your child. This is introducing them to your child. So they understand that, you know, they have some understanding of who he is and how he thinks and what he wants and what he doesn't like. So again, we just say, this is a great form. I will be sending you guys all the forms. But if you have a group that wants to start a small group so we can go into detail, I'll show you all of the forms. And I can show you how to use them. And we normally take the time to mark out and show you examples, and then ask you if you understand. You know, I send it to you so you can work on it. So if you like sharing it during the meeting, you can share it, because sometimes people are afraid to be wrong. So seeing somebody else as an example makes it so much easier for them to understand and grasp the concept. So if you're interested in a small group and you have 8, 10, 15 friends that need this information, and we go more into depth, give me a call and we'll set up the small group. It will give the date and time you will select. And we do a morning, we even have on the weekends offered to you. Okay, because I know most people are off on the weekends, and that's convenient for them. So we have morning, afternoon, it just depends what you want, because we're catering to you to make sure that we bring this information to you. So again, I say thank you, but I'm going to go to the next slide. Now, this slide here says thank you, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to participate with us. After we get on the call, just know we are now family. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have a question. Even if it doesn't pertain this and something's going on with your child with a disability, you have a problem at the school and you need somebody to help you solve it, you call Family to Family Network. We have some ladies that will get on it, and they know people, you know, and they will get to the right person no matter what school district. They're going to get to that person to help you. You're going to get an answer, and we're going to try to solve it. But as you know, some things can not be solved. It just needs to be worked on. So just know that we're here for you, and we are supporting you as well. But we have a survey that we need you guys to fill out for us.
I just put the link in there in the chat.
Yeah.
Yes.
So fill out. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that, as Inger said, here it was just a brief account of what our program can do, person-centered planning for the future of somebody with a disability. But what we would love to work in depth in all these forms that Inger mentioned, and we got some more, so you can really build maybe a binder, like a big file,
a portfolio,
anything, a portfolio that you can always refer to and even show to other people, and make it support you when you have to speak to others about helping you form your personal network for the future to support your child. So yes, please let us know, send us an email. I'll put our emails addresses here. Just so you let.
Uh-oh, she went out. But I just lost my train of thought. I wanted to say to you guys something, but I can't remember now. Can you hear me? Hello? You can hear me? You can, okay, so I think Christina went out. It was something else I was going to tell you guys, but I
Hello?
totally forgot. Okay,
Okay.
it was something else I was going to say to them. Oh, recording. If you want a recording of this, certainly email me, take the survey, and I will send the recording along with any documents that we spoke of today. And you know, so just say, hey, Inger, I did the survey. Can you please send me the recording and any documents? And I'll send them right away.
Mhm.
Okay, so you can, anytime you want to go back over these forms, you want to see it, you have any questions and you want to look back at that, you can certainly do so. So just know, again, we're Family to Family Network, and now you're part of our family too.
Thank
Okay,
you.
see
Anybody wants to
next
comment
time.
anything?
Yes, any questions? Any last questions? No, nothing? Okay, well, if you do, because you know, sometimes we go to sleep and we go, oh, I should have asked this question. And then in my mind, I'm always thinking, reflecting, and I go, dog, I should have asked this question. But don't hesitate, send me an email and say, hey, I have this question. And you will get an answer back from me, okay? And so I hope to see you guys in a small group. Thank you so much for attending. And again, I'm Inger, and Christina is along with us today. So thank you so much and have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Thank you.
I've
See you
enjoyed
soon.
it.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right.
Did you stop the recording?
Just